It's done. Oh my word. Okay ladies and gents, welcome back to a brand new video. Just before we dive into the video, can I please ask you a massive favour? Can you please drop the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel? That'd be much appreciated. So today is Tuesday the 10th of May and this commences deadline week for my final submission for my first year Masters of Architecture. So the deadline for the portfolio submission is Wednesday the 18th of May. However, 18th of May is my girlfriend's birthday, so I want to submit the day before so I can go home and obviously celebrate her birthday with her, which means that I've got exactly 1 week today to get it submitted. So we've got 1 week left, that's 7 days, so we've got a lot of stuff to get done. And if I'm honest, I'm getting to that point in the submission where I'm getting a bit fed up of being sat in this chair. I'm getting fed up of being confined to this room and looking at these screens. And obviously, as you guys know, if you're in the architecture space, you know that it's just knackering, it's tiring, it's draining, and it's not that ideal, to be honest. Last night I had a bit of a mental breakdown. I was literally like, oh my god, I've got a week left to do this. I've got 7 days left to literally get this work done. And then I'm done, and then I'm done for summer, which is amazing. But currently I'm in my comfies. I'm sat here, I'm not moving anywhere, I'm not going anywhere for the next 7 days, because we've got to get stuff done. And also I've actually got a deadline tomorrow as well, which is, it's quite a small deadline. I've got a tech post to submit, so today's plan is to get that submission done and then move on to my portfolio. So this currently is the poster. Let's up the brightness a little bit. So basically what it is, it's a zoom in detail of one of my roof structures, my external roof structures. So this is an elevation slash section in the middle, a kind of roof plan of that. And then what I've got is basically a series of information about the different components. So hopefully I can get this done within the next, I don't know, 2-3 hours, and then I can get that submitted, and then I can move all of my attention over to my portfolio submission. Poster complete. This is the bit that I've just added. Just got some details here, bit of information, added a conclusion, etc. Yes sir, done it. Happy days. Good morning ladies and gents, it is the following day, it's 7:20, I couldn't sleep, so I'm up and I'm doing work. Okay, so this morning's task is to set up all of the views that I want. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into Rhino, I'm going to set up all of the relevant views that I need. So for example, this one here, and this one here, this one here, this one here, for example. And hopefully over the course of today, tomorrow and Friday, I'll get all of the drawings done, because my aim is to get pretty much all of the drawings of my portfolio done by Saturday, which means that I can spend Saturday, Sunday cleaning up the drawings and adding any extra detail or changing any of the graphic style of them, and then I can spend Monday doing all the text and adding maybe like a front cover or an extra visualization that I might need. So that is my plan. My plan is to get all the drawings done by Saturday, so we'll see how we get on. Fast forward about 8 hours, had a really good and productive day today. Absolutely smashed through that to-do list today, but really good, really productive, got a lot done, which is really good. And I should definitely be getting up early more often, because I've just noticed I've absolutely flown through some stuff, and it's almost 7 o'clock now, so I've been sat here for literally 12 hours straight doing work. Obviously I went for a brief walk, got some breakfast, had my lunch, but pretty much for the past 12 hours I've been sat here right now. This is why studying architecture, when people ask me about going into architecture, I always warn them that you might have to spend a lot of time sat in your ass, sat on a desk, sat at a computer. But I've had a really productive day, so I think I'm going to actually stop for the day now. And I'm going to go grab some dinner. I'm going to treat myself to a nice dinner because I've had such a productive day. And then I'm going to come back, watch the football, and try and have an early night to get up early tomorrow morning. So that is the plan. Whether that goes to plan, because typically I'm usually sat watching the football and I start thinking about work and I'm thinking, oh, I could do this quickly, I could do that quickly, maybe I should change this. And then I go on my laptop and then I end up sitting there till 12, 1 o'clock, doing whatever, random stuff, clicking away at doing some stuff unproductively.
And now a word from our sponsors.
Throughout this deadline and during my first year of Masters of Architecture, I've been working really hard to find balance, looking after myself both physically and mentally, and this is where today's sponsor is going to be great. Yes, thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring this video. Due to architecture being such a heavy course and very stressful course, it can become quite overwhelming and you may become quite anxious about your studies. And if you feel like you're getting anxious or depressed or overwhelmed with your work, BetterHelp is here to help. BetterHelp offers licensed therapists who are trained to listen and help you. You can talk to your therapist in a private, online environment at your convenience. There is a broad range of expertise in BetterHelp's 20,000 therapists, so you guys can find the help that you feel like you might need. And all you have to do to sign up is fill out a questionnaire to help assess your specific needs, and then you get matched with a therapist in under 48 hours. So all you have to do to sign up is click for yourself, for couples, teen, I'm just going to put individual. So you head through all of these questions and it will match you up with the right therapist for you. And personally, from my experience, I have found architecture school very stressful and my anxiety is built, and even currently right now I feel quite overwhelmed with the amount of work and the pressure that is currently on me with this submission. So if you guys are currently struggling or suffering with anxiety, depression, or feeling very overwhelmed with your studies, you can get 10% off your first month with the link down below in the description. And remember guys, it's important to look after yourself both physically and mentally. So thank you BetterHelp for sponsoring today's video. Back to the video. Okay, and what I've got here is some lamb skewers. Oh, look at them, looks lovely. And I've got myself a chicken, what's it called, souvlaki. Chicken souvlaki, you got some chips in there, you've got some nice nuts. Oh, it's gonna be lovely, I'm gonna enjoy this. Watching the football and I start thinking about work and I'm thinking, oh, I could do this quickly, I could do that quickly, maybe I should change this. And then I go on my laptop and then I end up sitting there till 12, 1 o'clock. I'm just editing a YouTube video. So I typically try and write a to-do list every single day to make sure that I'm getting stuff done. I might also try and write a to-do list at the start of the week, so that's what I did at the start of this week. But I've kind of gone off track a little bit. A lot of the drawings have changed and I've been kind of going ahead of schedule. So what I'm going to do now is just doing a to-do list every single day and just ticking stuff off that way. I've missed out one thing on my to-do list, but it's getting to that time of the night where I'm just not being productive and everything is frustrating me. So I'm going to get into bed, go to sleep and start early tomorrow. 4 days till the deadline. Yesterday I had a really good tutorial with my tutor, which really helped me and guided me with some of the drawings that I was needed to produce, some of the drawings that I needed to take out of the project, and basically making things a little bit more refined and making sure I'm picking and choosing the drawings correctly. And I was seriously contemplating not having a tutorial yesterday because I just didn't want any kind of harsh feedback so close to the deadline. But I was actually really happy that I spoke to them and got some really good feedback. So that's a lesson for you guys. If you're feeling like you don't want to have a tutorial and you don't want to kind of face any criticism from your tutors, just do it anyway because they'll always give you some good feedback and head you in the right direction. And today we've got Star Wars on in the background. Okay, so for today's portion of this deadline week, I'm going to talk through the portfolio itself. So bearing in mind, this is so almost finished. I'm pretty much there. I've probably got about 3 or 4 drawings left to do, including a front cover, and then I'm done. So I'm going to show you guys from my proposal onwards. So if you guys want to see kind of my body of research prior to my proposal, you can check out my last video, which I dive a little bit more detail into that, or my video back in January when I do my portfolio submission then. So the proposal begins with a breaker page, basically gives an insight into the project itself and what's to come, and this also responds directly from my research. So this was really kind of just a really simple drawing just to kind of commence the project. So then I've got independent filmmakers. So essentially the project is an independent filmmaker production facility. So from the start to finish, the process of producing an independent film, whether that's a short film or a feature film, whether it's a podcast, whether it's a talk show or a TV show, whether it's a vlogging or miniature film sets, basically it's going to be a facility for independent filmmakers to produce this content. They can write scripts, budget, hire crew, get casting, prep shoot days. They can shoot the films, and then they can do the post-production, and they can actually market at a film festival on the site as well. So the idea is from start to finish, you get to basically produce an independent film. So this is basically discussing the independent filmmakers' needs, their spatial needs, so the types of spaces that they might need, and basically some kind of basic considerations of some design decisions moving forward. So in this portfolio, it is maximum 50 pages. And so I didn't want to cram in a load of development work, sketches, precedent studies, etc. I wanted to keep it fairly kind of formal, going from my research to a proposal. And then I'm going to create a separate document that includes all of the sketches, the development work, photos of models, research, etc. Which basically, if the tutors want to look at that, or if they think that there isn't enough development, they can kind of look at that document and kind of understand the development process. But here is just basically a couple of diagrams to describe my kind of thinking and the logic behind the proposal and the organization of the proposal. So this is basically discussing that there's going to be a central community space where these spaces are going to lead off. So here it kind of demonstrates that they're going to be dispersed off kind of some central hub. There's going to be some kind of continuity with the spaces, level changes, so vertical continuity, step terraces, shifting planes, so things shifting and moving and overlapping, making views and peering over to views into other spaces, and then also public and private, underground and overground, because if things are underground, it means I can control lighting and acoustics, which is really important for independent filmmakers. And then also indoor and outdoor filming, so it gives kind of the option of either being able to go indoor or use the kind of the landscape as a backdrop. And then I go into a drawing system, so I basically use my mapping system from my research and basically use that to implement it. And then I basically made a model of that. And then it goes into the site plan. So if you guys watched the previous video, I kind of went into some detail about all of these drawings, but basically I kind of was going for this sketchy, but really fine line weight drawings, because I think this just looks really, really nice. And I've also applied like a grainy, like a film grain look to it, although it's very subtle. But this is the kind of style, very thin, lightweight drawings with quite harsh shadows. And so this is going to be basically the way that I'm communicating my project. Black and whites with a hint of red, and you'll actually see that introduce some green as well later on. Because the project is all about cinema, filming, framing, points of view, you'll notice that a lot of my drawings are kind of framed. They're cropped. So for example here, you can see that I've got the frame marks and then the kind of target point. And this is all just to basically demonstrate that this is about cinema, this is about photographing, this is about point of view, and I'm kind of trying to emphasize that in every design decision that I do, and also the graphic communication. And my project very, very heavily relies on the landscape, the views over the landscape, and also the slope of the landscape. So as you can see here, it's heavily built into the landscape, and kind of respecting the views over the panorama. I didn't want to disturb any of the views looking over the panorama. And I also wanted to build the project into the landscape because therefore, like I mentioned, I could control lighting and acoustics if it's a film studio, for example. And then the way that I wanted to construct the portfolio in terms of the floor plans was basically doing some kind of sequence of spaces. So do a floor plan and then a view, a floor plan, a view, floor plan, a view. So you're kind of making your way down into these spaces, and it's kind of like a montage, a sequence of these spaces coming together. And so this is a view here, just looking over the panorama. Once again, black, white, a bit of red. This is kind of what I was saying about the sequence and the montage and the framing. So this is a journey that you take down into the spaces. And what I did is I just created a frame for every single space. And this basically describes the journey that you take and the geometry of the spaces and the quality of the spaces and how these planes are shifting. You're looking in and out of places, you're looking over, you're peering into things. And this is all about views, points of view, perspective. And so once again, this is emphasized here. I'm personally really happy with this little drawing here. This is probably one of my favorite drawings out of the entire portfolio because I just like how I kind of made it look like they're sat watching a projector. But essentially, like I mentioned earlier on, I wanted to facilitate the entire process of producing a film. So this is just an outdoor amphitheater that in the day it can just be a seating space with some kind of shelter. But then in the evening, a projector screen would drop down from here. You can attach a projector onto this bit of the roof, and you can basically have a film festival outside. So if you've produced the film in the facility, you can then obviously display it at a film festival where people can come and obviously buy the film, or they can provide budgeting or etc. market it for you. Here's some green. So this is kind of an obvious one. This is essentially just a green screen, and this is an outdoor space and this is an indoor space. And in some occasions, although a lot of things are quite structured and framed, some of them kind of break out of the frame as well. So important thing when it comes to a portfolio, create rules, but you can also break those rules occasionally and break out of those rules. So for example, here I've just got a section which kind of I've photo montage kind of thing. I've blended the two to make it look like this leads into this, but in reality this is actually a completely separate drawing, and this is a separate drawing which I've framed here, but kind of indicated that this is a space that leads into another. These are views into the atrium, the kind of co-working spaces where there would be planning, budgeting, hiring crew, etc. All the stuff that comes kind of prior to shooting. And then this is like a post-production office that's looking down into a podcast studio, and you can kind of see here on the screen that this person is sat kind of monitoring what's going on, or adjusting the lighting, or editing it, or whatever. And I want you guys to comment down below what you think of this red ribbon that goes around. Personally, I quite like it. I don't know if it's too much. Obviously, by the time that I upload this video, it's going to be too late. But I quite like it. I think it adds a bit of like depth to it, and it kind of brings it to life a little bit. And then going into the final basement, this is the film studios. So once again, adding a bit of green to indicate the green screen. And this is just a view into the kind of biggest film studio. I've put some kind of random film set in there to make it look like they're filming something, and also put some stuff on the whiteboard. And yeah, so I've produced all of these drawings in Rhino. So I pretty much modeled this entire thing in Rhino, and then produced and extracted, make 2Ds and put it into Illustrator, adjusting them in Illustrator, and then doing renders, which is just a white render. And then I've obviously added kind of grain to it, changed the exposure, changed the levels, etc., to kind of make these pop as much as possible. But this is where I'm at the moment. I've got a landscape visualization to do, very similarly to how I've done this one. I want to basically do some kind of frames to show the journey that you take through the landscape. I want to do an environmental page, which is showing materiality and also some kind of environmental system that I'm using, because currently I don't really demonstrate anything about the environment or really the materiality because of the drawings being so black and white, you can't really tell what the materiality is. And so I just want to do one page to kind of break out of the black and white, show a bit of color, show a bit of texture, show a bit of materiality, to give you an insight into the kind of components and how this thing could potentially be constructed. And then I finally need to do a final landscape view, which is going to be kind of like the main last view of the portfolio. And I've also got a front cover to do. So there's still some bits to do. Today's Sunday. I've got tomorrow left to do the stuff, and I want to get it submitted tomorrow. That's my plan. As you can tell, with me talking at the moment, I'm exhausted, I'm tired, and I definitely need a break after this. But you guys know, if you're in the architecture space, architecture is not an easy subject to study, but I mean, hopefully it'll be worth it in the end. Hopefully. Anyway, so yeah, let's move on to tomorrow. Today's to-do list is short and sweet because I don't have too much left. I've literally got one drawing left to do and a front cover, and then it's complete. So this is going to be quite an important drawing though, so I'm going to have a series of different drawings here. Get it submitted. I've been absolutely flying through my to-do lists every day. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and yeah, we're ahead of schedule, which means that we can get it submitted today, which is really exciting. We've made some progress. So this is the landscape plan, and basically I've just added all of the materiality to it, and I think the stone is actually quite successful with the grass. It looks kind of natural, and I've just got like zoomed in bits here which are basically meant to point out the materiality and basically just give you an insight into the materiality, because that is something that is lacked in previous drawings like this. For example, you can't really tell the materiality of it, but obviously this gives that indication. And then this is the final page that I need to get done for the portfolio, which is absolutely insane. Okay people, I think we are done. So what I've done is I've created some hyperlinks to link other files to this project. So for example, here I've got a hyperlink here that if you click, it will take you to a video relevant to that page. Here you've got a animated drawing, and then for my development work, what I've done is I've gone down to this page and I've got a development drawing file here which takes you to just sketches, which hopefully will load. Yeah, so I've just got sketches with a bit of text just to indicate some of the development work that I've done and relevant research. Oh my days. It's done. We've done it. It's done. Oh my word. And relax. You know what the best way is to celebrate submitting something? It's eating some good food, and that's exactly what I'm gonna go get. Oh my word, look at that. We've got a double honest-burger with rosemary chips. Wow, this is definitely a meal of celebration. Oh, I'm gonna sit and really enjoy this. And we're done. We're celebrating. That's been done for summer. First year Masters of Architecture complete. So thank you so much for watching this video, ladies and gents. Make sure you smash the thumbs up button. Make sure to subscribe. Hit the notification bell, and I'll see you next time. Peace.